So in this video, we're going to talk about how do we create a bar chart for qualitative data. Remember, qualitative data or categorical data is any kind of naming or ordering data. So the example we're going to look at is this example here, which says many public health efforts are directed toward increasing levels of physical activity. The accompanying data set gives the preferred activities of different ethnicities. The following codes are used. So we have walking, weight training, cycling, gardening, and aerobics. And I've actually taken the time already to put this data into an Excel document. And here is the activity listed alphabetically. And here are the actual frequencies of each one. So you have aerobics, cycling, gardening, weight training, and walking. And what we're going to do is we're going to summarize this data using a table. And so for that table, here's what I've created, the columns I've created for that table. And I'm going to go and I'm going to create a bar chart. And from the bar chart, I'm going to gather this and fill this in, okay? And we know we want to make a Pareto chart. And all a Pareto chart means is that our our bars will descend in order from largest to smallest. So we will start here. We can see that it's going to start with walking, be weight training. Then it looks like aerobics, cycling, and then finally gardening. And that's what the bars are going to create by doing it. So we're going to do all of this in Excel. And in order to do it in Excel, here's what I'm going to do. Once the data is punched into an Excel, I'm going to highlight it. And there's a couple ways I can create graphs using this. I can use the insert button up here, right? And it'll take me to the different types of graph that I have. You can use the insert button here, and you can go to a chart and create different charts as well. For this particular graph, we're going to use the statistical charts. So we want to make a Pareto chart. And for the Pareto to occur, you could make a bar chart using this. And I'll show you what that looks like. If I use a bar chart with just this, by highlighting those cells, here's what the bar chart comes out to be. And this is fine in displaying the data if I just want to display it as a bar chart, but this is not a Pareto chart. A Pareto chart would have the largest category, which is walking, come first, then the second category, weight training, followed by aerobics, then cycling, then gardening. So this is not a Pareto chart, but this is just a bar chart. So I want to create a Pareto chart. And the purpose of a Pareto chart is that in a Pareto chart, if you list the categories that are mainly used for quality control in business, so if you list the categories by which ones come first, you focus your efforts on what you need to do to fix those particular problems. So let's go ahead and make the actual Pareto. So again, highlight the data. And this time, instead of clicking that column chart that I clicked on a second ago, I'm going to click on this one, which is your statistical charts. These are your statistical charts. And for your statistical charts, I want to click on this one right here, the histogram with the Pareto. So it's going to make a Pareto chart. And notice what it did. It took my activities right here and it listed them from the largest to the smallest in descending order. This is a Pareto chart, and it also placed the Pareto line. The Pareto line is measuring the percentage or the cumulative percentages throughout the entire category. So let's start filling this table in. And we'll start off with our first activity, which is walking. Then we have weight training, followed by aerobics, cycling, and gardening. And if I want to get these actual values, if I right click on my graph, I can go to add data labels. And if I do that, it'll put the actual values for each one of those in. So here are your actual values. So for the frequency, then would be in for this one. Let me double click the cell and make it wider. 9 for weight training, 6 for aerobics, 3 for cycling, and 2 for gardening. And if I want to know the total number of these, then I can add those up, or I can use a function in Excel, which is I can use the sum function. So to use a function, or a formula, you can use the equal sign. Equal will allow you to bring up a formula. I'm going to use the sum formula. I want to take the sum of all of these cells. I'm going to highlight all these cells and then close the parentheses, and I get this. So I now have a total of 30 activities taking place. To find their percentages, you can use all the percentages is going to be the frequency divided by the total. So I'm going to use another function, or I'm just going to do math in Excel now, and I'll do the frequency, which is this, divided by the total, which is down here. And that gives me my percentage, which is 33% are in that walking category. 33% of the data fall within the walking category. Weight training, this, divided by this. 30% are in the weight training category. Aerobics, 20% in the aerobics category. And again, all I'm doing is I'm taking each frequency and dividing by the total. 10% in the cycling category, divided by the total, and 6.67% in the gardening total, the gardening category. Now, to finish this column off, I want to go to the cumulative frequency. Cumulative frequency, the word cumulative means to add up to. So you're going to add up to that column and everything below it. So if we start off with this first one, here's what this orange line, it's called the Pareto line. The Pareto line is measuring that. So in this first category, the Pareto line is going to start at the whatever the largest category is. In this case, it should be at 10. And then the next one is going to be, well, I'm going to add up to this category and everything below it. So I'm going to take the 10 I already have and then add 9 more to it. So when I do that, I'm going to get 19. And then in the next category, I'm going to take what I have before it, 19, and add 6 more to that. So I get 25. The next category, I have 25. I'm going to add 3 more to that, 28. And the last category, I have 28. I'm going to add 2 more to that. That gives me 30. So what you've done is you've accumulated it, or you've cumulatively added every category up to the very top. The actual Pareto line itself is measuring the percentage, the cumulative percent. So to find your cumulative percents, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can add every one of these up if you want to, like we just did. So you would take the percent here. The first category should be this number here. Second category, or the weight training category, would be this percent plus that percent. Third category for aerobics would be this percent, and this percent added up. A quick way to do that, though, is just to use what you have right here, since you've already found cumulative frequency, and divide it by the total. So we'll just do this here, divided by 30, first category. For weight training, we will do this here, divided by the total. And if you notice here, weight training, here is it at about 63% of weight training. We're measuring the actual midpoints when we do these. Next category, 25 divided by the total. Next category, 28 divided by the total. And then the final category, it should be at the full total, which would be 30 divided by 30, which is 1. And so this right here is how we create a Pareto chart, or a bar chart, for categorical data. And here's the summary table for that categorical data. And now I can start to see these different elements of the data based off of this.